Welcome back to Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. Once again, I'm joined by Colin Watt and Amy Canavan. Half-time, what a first half. Amy, you're 2-0 up, thinking to yourself, what a start. But we've seen the two sides of Celtic in that first half, haven't we?
That's total and utter Ange ball, isn't it? We can score two, but well, my God, we'll concede two. If you're a neutral, that's the dream game, isn't it? There has been absolutely everything in that. That was probably one of the most fast-paced 40 minutes. I'd say the first 40 where it was non-stop. Last 5 minutes, it's kind of died down a little bit. But Celtic's, all their greatness was on show, but all the vulnerabilities were on show as well. In a nutshell, just get Soro off. But, it came flying out the traps. It was a great start. You're literally sitting there, I was sitting with my family, and I'm just laughing, going, what's going on here? And to start with, I didn't think that Betis looked that decent. I thought they were all over the shop. I thought, my God, they're making us look half decent. If you think Celtic's defence was bad, theirs was 10 times worse. But then everything just gets brought right back down to reality. And like I say, frailties were on show. I don't think Hart can really be blamed. But it's just a little bit of naivety. That it's as simple balls, we're trying to cling on to if that's perhaps offside. It's not. He's onside. It's a great run, but should we really be getting caught out like that? I know I've just sort of dissected everything really quite quick, as I always do seem to do. But what an opening 45 for sure, yeah.
Absolutely. We will look at some of the individual performances, and Soro will definitely be discussed. Colin, the point I would raise is at 25 minutes in, you're 2-0 up. You've got a goal after a VAR review. You've got a penalty that definitely was a penalty. What do you do at that stage, 25 minutes in, against a team that you're not fancied to get a result against, a strong side who, as Amy said, hadn't shown much at that point, and you're 2-0 up? Remember, we did it in San Siro. You're 2-0 up against AC Milan. As a side, as a manager, what do you do at that point? Do you just continue to play your own game? Do you make any kind of tactical changes in terms of the shape of your side? We decided to go as it was, and obviously they've pulled us back. But it is a dilemma at that point of the game, isn't it?
It's what I was saying before the game. When you talk about your head and your heart, your head probably tells you change it up, but your heart's telling you it's 2-0, let's just keep at this. But it's like Celtic away in Europe's like a film we've all seen before, and we can all play a part in. We've seen it that many times. We knew this was going to come. You're kind of kidding yourself on if you thought that we were going to be comfortable after going 2-0 up. It's just the way Celtic are away from home in Europe. But look, there's been some really good performances. I said before the game, Yeti had to pull something out the bag, and he's done that so far. How long does it take for a VAR check, by the way? Honestly, that was ridiculous how long we had to wait on that. But no, there's been some really bright sparks. Jota looks far more comfortable on the right-hand side, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because we still don't have a left-sided player unless Montgomery steps up, and he has done so far. But I've got to agree with Amy. You've got to get Soro off the park, because 2 each can easily become 3 or 4-2 if we go down to 10 men.
There are a lot of comments coming in relation to that performance by Soro. We spoke about it before the game. Colin also gave us some comment in relation to, that's an impressive beard, Thomas, well done, in relation to the referee and his tendency to dish out cards. Now, people are saying he's reckless. I think he's completely indisciplined, Amy. I mean, if you get a booking after 7 minutes, and by the way, that was his second rash challenge that he got a booking for, after 7 minutes, then you're doing daft things like once the game has, the ref stopped play, you're putting your hands up to your opponent. He's having nibble after nibble after nibble. That's indiscipline as much as recklessness.
Absolutely. And there was a comment, one of the ones you pulled up there was like, he's really aggressive in his tackles. I don't think he can tackle. I think that's the issue. It's always late, it's lazy, it's lackadaisical, but he's such a liability. We sort of touched upon it before, so it's not revisionism or anything like that, or being reactionary. We sort of saw this coming, that especially with a foreign referee in Europe, the Spaniards are going to go down at every opportunity. But to be honest, rightly so, because everyone has been a foul. He's still incredibly lucky to be on the pitch. He really is. And I'm sort of worried then, what state is McCarthy in, that Ange doesn't believe he can really bring him in, because you don't need to be any sort of experienced mastermind manager to understand that that player needs hooked, and there's no polite way of saying that. He needs to, as all the comments are rightly saying, he needs to be subbed off before he's sent off, because it's an accident waiting to happen. It's a red card waiting to happen. He's lucky to really get away with one there when Betis were breaking, and obviously all the reactions came. We knew obviously he wasn't getting sent off because the referee couldn't have played advantage. He would have needed to stop the game there and then. But if it was the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be going, oh my God, that's a red card. So he needs to be taken off, because a little bit of stability is needed. He's at fault again, I think, for the first goal, second goal. God, I can't remember now. I think folk are blaming Ralston's poor header, but I think it's Soro failing to clear. He sort of just like parries it on his chest. So for me, he's not really doing anything. He's not offering any support to the defenders behind him, who have both been pretty compact. But you're now looking at Cameron Carter-Vickers on the booking as well. So Betis are clever, Pellegrini's an experienced manager. He's just going to have his players, trying to nullify. They want Soro sent off, which they're already trying to do. Don't think I've got to take much more. But at the start of the second half, McCarthy or Shaw or anybody, to be honest, just needs to be on, and Soro needs to depart.
I tell you
the
what,
big comment, sorry, Colin, coming in is we're taking it for granted that your replacement would be McCarthy. We've not seen a full half by him so far in a Celtic jersey. Now is the time, though, and I think Postecoglou's hand's been forced by Soro's indiscipline in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at it, see, once he's booked, it takes that side of his game away completely, or it should, but yet he still puts himself into these tackles. I think after that second one, you saw the kind of tackles were starting to ease slightly. He wasn't throwing himself into the kind of dramatic ones. But if you take that away, he is your holding midfielder. He is the one that's supposed to stop those attacks coming through. If he can't play that game, he shouldn't be on the park. You've got to bring someone on who is going to hold that for 45 minutes. Because if he comes away, then you're left with Rogic, who's not going to be a holding midfielder. Turnbull, who's sitting deeper than you want him to be sitting. And then that just leaves your back four exposed. And as you say, Cameron Carter-Vickers is already on a yellow card. Now is the time, whether it be Henderson, whether it be McCarthy, whether it be Shaw, someone has to come on in that second half, because it's very hard to say, but you just can't trust them for that second 45 minutes.
No, you can't. When you're looking at the goals, I always look for, who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for winning that ball before it's even brought into the area? And when I'm looking at the second one, my biggest frustration at this level is a player standing like that, waiting for an offside. And Ralston switched off. I've been a massive champion of Ralston. He switched off. At this level, that's all you need to do, because he's actually giving the boy a yard and he can't recover from that. So that, I know that the damage had started before that, but Ralston can prevent that. We've seen him doing it before in the last game in Europe, Colin. You and I spoke about that in here, where he's made that, long burst and run, and he's cleared the ball from the 6-yard line. He switched off tonight, and that's something that he needs to get rid of his game. But when we're looking at Hart, I've got to say, I counted 4 saves by Hart in that first half, where one of them was absolutely superb. The other one were important saves. So I think he's blameless in both goals. But Ralston really needs to switch on. But in the first instance, Amy, I think the one you're talking about, Soro's got to do better there. He's got 2 opportunities to win that ball. So when he's going in rash, it's when he doesn't have to do it. When he needs to go in and make a solid, well-timed tackle, he pulls out of it. So Soro absolutely needs to come off at half-time. And I think what we've got to take from that first half is that we can carve this team open. Jota is absolutely pivotal to that, Colin. I mean, one of the big things, which is interesting, because online I was very, very optimistic and positive about Jota, and I was criticised for that, which is just, that's social media for you. You're being far too positive about our new signing. And what I was hearing is that his final ball isn't good enough. I've not seen that tonight. I think his final ball has been excellent tonight, Amy.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you. He's been instrumental. He played a great part in the goal. But he's just been causing havoc. He's getting into space. He's torturing down that right hand side. As Colin said, it's almost that stop it, I like it sort of thing, because then you're like, wow, who've we got out on the left? But right now he's doing everything he can, and he's the source of everything good. I think he's linking up really well with Ayeti, but he's finding where Ayeti is. But yeah, he's been the best player on the park for me so far. I think why am I struggling? Rogic has been really good today as well. I think he's just carving out little chunks of space, linking up well with Montgomery and Juranovic as well. And we've certainly found our new penalty taker.
I know that was just class, but one thing I'd say about Roger, he seemed to be linking up well with Jota. He was giving the ball out there wide at every single opportunity. A couple of comments coming in about Starfelt. I actually felt that in that first half, it's going back to a point you made at the beginning of the game, Colin. He is growing in confidence insofar as he's far more comfortable on the ball. He's taking it for a run. You've seen him crossing the halfway line 2 or 3 times tonight, and he has completed the move by passing on to one of the players further up the park. My only concern is, as Amy says, Carter Vickers is on a booking. Generally, I wouldn't be concerned, because I think in terms of the tackle, he times it well, and I wouldn't be looking to make any changes. And I think that he's been dominant, particularly in the air as well. But him and Starfelt seem to be carving out quite a good partnership.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, the biggest trouble we've had is when the ball's been sort of played in behind than the ball played sort of in the air. I know we conceded the first goal from it, but you were getting that header clear. It was the second ball after that, and we've got to be sharper on that to get rid of it. So the two, and then Cameron and Carter Vickers put in an outstanding tackle there just before half time, which if he hadn't, it could have been 3-2 and we could have been in a totally different ball game this second half. So look, the two at the back are going to be pivotal, but Ralston does have to look at that 45 minutes and come out and show the Ralston that we've seen this season, and not the Ralston of a couple of seasons ago. He's got to be someone who is committed but keeps it simple as well. You don't want to be doing something that's beyond him. When I look at that second goal, he's got 2 yards on his man and he lets him go by him. He stops, puts the hands up for offside instead of playing to the whistle. It's silly things like that we need to kind of get out of our game. It's the basics we're talking about. It's the basics with Soro. It's the basics with Ralston. If we get it right, then we should go second half.
It comes down to discipline. Be far more disciplined and be switched on and focused for the entire half. Now, I don't think we've spoken about Ayeti enough in that first half. He scores the goal. He had to wait for that, and he wins the penalty as well. Amy, how impressed have you been with Ayeti? He's a poacher, and it's something that, by the way, we've seen it time and time again. The ball coming over twice to Edouard in games against Rangers. The 4-1 game last season and this season's game, and he's not taking his chance, the one where Kyogo's put. That is what Ayeti is good at.
Absolutely. You look at the goals at the weekend, they're poacher's goals because he's getting in the right position. And he's been in the right positions tonight. I said beforehand on the pre-match, it's a free hit for him. There's nobody else ahead of him right now. There's nobody else available. There's nobody behind him. There's nobody on the bench. So it's only going to be him tonight. So go and grab it with both hands. And I think he's certainly done that. We're seeing him moving a lot more than I think any of us have ever seen him move before as well. He's certainly looking a lot leaner. That is true. But I've been extremely impressed by him. I really have. And he doesn't look burnt out or anything like that, because, that's been another thing. Where's his fitness been at? But that's been a fairly intense 45 minutes. He's certainly been up with play. He really looks like he's caring. There's been a few times, obviously, has been caught offside, but there was one that was really tight. Didn't think he was. He was so committed that goal should have stood. And he was getting himself in the right positions at that time. So he's been impressive. It's another big 45 from him, because he's going to be the vocal point, because he's ripping and finding spaces. And as long as Jota's getting the balls in, which, like you say, his final ball for me has been terrific as well, more chances will come upon him.
Yeah, definitely. The teams are back out on the park. Will it be as exciting in the second half? Is this what Ange Ball's going to do to you all season? Who knows? But somebody did make a comment earlier on. It's definitely better than Lenny Ball, and I've got to agree with that. Let's hope we can get a result. I did say Celtic would score first, Colin, I did
You
say
did.
that.
You did, yeah.
And let's hope, I mean, a draw would be fantastic. Anything more than that would just be out of this world at this moment in time. So, yes, we know how to open them up. Let's see if we can do it again. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. And thank you once again for Amy Canavan and Colin Watt for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.